What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Awakening World. It's our Saturday night show, and I want to invite everybody to really get ready to interact because we're talking about something very important. Of course, our show is called The Awakening World, and a wonderful aspect of that is understanding the Holo Movement. And I was blessed to be with a number of members of the Evolutionary Leaders Network and the Synergy Circles in Sedona, Arizona, about 6 weeks ago, I think it was, where we ignited the Holo Movement. And so tonight we're going to share with you, what does that mean? What is it all about? You're going to meet some of my absolute favorite human beings. And then we want to hear from you. What does your role look like? What's it mean to be part of this awakening world, this Holo Movement? And it's my honor. I love when I get to co-host with Reverend Deborah Moldow. I love calling her Rev Deb. And she is the person who put together this incredible gathering. There were about 80 participants in Sedona. It was the first time that all this group had come together in 3 years. And for many of us, first time meeting each other. And amongst all the hugs, there was a lot of good work that was accomplished as well. And so Rev Deb, again, congratulations on the momentous task of putting that event together. And I'm so glad we get to share time together tonight.
Well, thank you so much, Scott. It's great to be back online with you, but it was so special to actually meet you in person.
Yeah.
What a treat. And oh my goodness, especially after the years of not traveling and not having our usual evolutionary leaders retreats, to be able to see people in person, and a number of people on this show this evening, it was the first time that we actually saw them in person. So that was great. And you give me way too much credit for the gathering. I did have a number of different hats to wear during it, but it was the dream child of Emmanuel Kunzelman. And we had a wonderful host team, so that the Source of Synergy Foundation, which is the mother organization for the Evolutionary Leaders Circle, and Purpose Earth, which came out of Unity Earth and the Global Purpose Movement, were the co-hosts. And then we had a wonderful team, including Kurt Johnson, Olivia Hansen, Lawrence Singer, Susan Belchamber, Desiree Hertak, and I just know I'm leaving somebody out, Diane Williams, of course. Anyway, if I left somebody out, I'll come back to it. But it was a group effort, and that's what the Holo Movement is about, right? It's like the Uber group effort. people really, really were drawn to come to it because it's what all of our work has been about. It's what our hopes and dreams are all pointing to, that there is actually an evolutionary impulse that is leading us all to want to step up to a different level of consciousness for all humanity that is in service to the earth, to all life, and to one another. So this is the movement of the awakening world for the Global Peace Tribe. So I think we're in the right place.
Absolutely. Well, I want to let everybody know, if you're watching on Facebook, and thank you to John and Summer Raymer with the Sign Network. They get us out, Deborah, to over 150 Facebook groups and pages. So the majority of the people watching will be on Facebook. We also are on Alan Steinfeld's YouTube channel. We're on Steve Farrell's Humanities Team channel. So people are watching in many different ways. And if you are watching us in one of those ways, that's wonderful. And we want to invite you to come on into the Zoom room. In fact, I want to invite you to join the Global Peace Tribe. And it's really easy to do that. Just go to globalpeacetribe.com, globalpeacetribe.com. You can learn all about us and all about the different shows that we do. And then click register for the new season. And when you click register for the new season, it'll take you to our registration page. And we do 3 or 4 shows every week. And every show is filled with inspiration, filled with wonderful presenters like the ones you're going to meet tonight. So, for example, on Wednesday night, we had a fascinating show all about mixing authentic spirituality with politics. And in addition to all the people you see there, we also heard from Marianne Williamson, who sent us a pair of beautiful videos. Here's tonight's show. What is your role in the Holo Movement? And we're going to not only hear from our guest presenters about that, but we're going to hear from you, the audience. What is your role? And we're going to talk about that quite a bit. So come on into the Zoom room where we can directly connect with you. That's where we can chat with you and perhaps even put some of you on camera tonight. And then tomorrow for the Sacred Sunday show, it's all about tools for redignifying love. Isn't that an interesting expression? That comes from my guest, Ari. We're also going to hear from Sri Ram. And as always, our beloved Omashar is here to play music. We're going to have 2 musical numbers from Omashar tonight. We're also going to hear tonight live from Claire and Mark Dubois. They are with us, and they're going to speak in just a few minutes. And Zenka Caro is with us, and we love Zenka. We love Claire and Mark too. And so these are some of our in-person presenters tonight. And then we also have some really beautiful video recordings. We're also going to hear from Antoinette live. She's going to join us in a little while. So it's going to be interactive though. And so Rev, Deb, and I are going to ask you to share what does, as you kind of learn about it, as you think about it, well, how are you playing your role in the Holo Movement? It might be your form of professional work. It might be your world service. It might just be your consciousness. It might just be the belief in the oneness of humanity, your love of nature, your love of your family, your children. There's many ways that we are creating this beautiful awakening. And one yes.
May we start by answering a question that came up in the chat that I think is critical to people being able to answer what you're asking them. So Laura in the chat asked, what the heck is the Holo Movement? So maybe we should just speak briefly to that.
Yeah.
While people are ruminating a little bit on how they're feeling this evolutionary pull.
You go first. What is the Holo Movement?
Okay. So the Holo Movement it's a big word, and it actually comes from physicist David Bohm. And what he meant by that was huge. It was how reality manifests from the implicate or inner order to the explicit, where everything we can see and experience with our senses takes place. But you don't really have to understand physics to get the concept of the Holo movement the way we're using it. So think of the word holistic as being the start of that word. Wholeness, oneness, unity, all life in its beautiful web that makes up this conscious planet that we live on. The Holo movement is everyone and every way that we are experiencing the call of the new consciousness to step into service to something way greater than ourselves and to help build an awakening world, a world that is filled with love and compassion and that spirit of family. We're all family, all of humanity, and our brothers and sisters who have four legs or feathers, you know, even the trees and the plants. And oh, I love my garden here in Mexico that's behind me. So we're all part of this in whatever we're doing to make our own contribution. And it can be a very personal contribution, like the way you raise your children, or it could be a grand scale contribution, like some of our evolutionary leaders and the movements that they've started, such as Unity Earth or Humanities Team or the Upshift Movement or the Earthwise Center that we'll hear about later from Anneloes Smithsman. There's so much that's happening, but we don't know it. We don't know about one another, and we have no way to connect yet. And that's the purpose of the Holo movement.
Beautiful, beautifully stated. And so we are going to want to hear from some of you about how you relate to it. In a moment, we're going to play a video from our beloved Kristen Hoffman with many other contributing to make it happen. And I think you'll find that very inspiring. And, you know, I want to speak to the people that maybe aren't doing a big thing in the world, but just holding consciousness, just holding the vision of world peace, holding the vision for more love. Because ultimately, when we love well, and love is compassionately understanding and caring for each other, that to me is the greatest contribution to the Holo movement. So it doesn't have to be a big epic thing, but it can just be the consciousness in which you're living your life.
Thank you, Scott.
And you know, already we're getting some wonderful messages. I'm going to read just a couple of them, and then we'll get to the video, and then we'll get to Mark and Claire. Reverend Jeffrey writes, holographic is how we are all one, that the whole is within the parts. Example, the proton has all the information of the entire universe within it, which means you too are connected to the whole universe. Thank you for that, Reverend Jeffrey.
Read what Susan Bloomquist is doing.
Do you want to read that one?
Sure. She says we're ready to launch the Sunny Therm climate stable technology. The rock battery emits temperatures between 60 and 98 degrees. So if the temperature outside is lower or higher, the inside temperature is stabilized. And this durable, simple, inexpensive technology requires no input of fuel. The Sunny Therm solar collectors do the work. So that's the kind of visionary project that can make a difference in this world.
Carol Craig writes, I love Rev Deb's enthusiasm and the way she's explaining the Holo movement. By the way, it's holo, like whole, as opposed to hollow. We are whole, we aren't hollow. So, and you know, Sylvia, just one word, interconnection, interconnection.
Yes.
All right, Rev Deb, tell us about this beautiful video that we're about to see from our beloved Kristen Hoffman.
I know that everybody on this awakening world, everyone in the Global Peace Tribe knows Kristen Hoffman, and what an amazing channel she is for beauty and truth. And every note that she sings seems to convey a higher frequency. So she took on the daunting task of creating an anthem for the Holo Movement. And the video, she also produced the video with the help of Emmanuel Kunzelman and producers David Bryan and Rhiannon Catalyst. And I defy you all to watch it without it bringing a tear to your eyes. So let's take a look.
We have entered an extraordinarily rare interval in human history, a choice point in our collective journey, a space between the past and the future where the lives of countless generations ahead will be profoundly impacted by the choices we make now.
I believe it is both subtle and large, and something else so extraordinary that there's almost no name for it, because a new human species is ready to emerge.
Participation in this transformation involves collective attention and communication on a planetary scale. This creates coherence and clarity of direction. Simply put, it is the Holo Movement in motion.
It is the great universal source itself, herself, ourselves. It says it is time to wake up now. It is time to do and be what you were born to do and be.
Movement, follow, just follow that. Follow, 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 movement, follow, just follow that. Fol
The moment her voice first comes in, that's when the tears come for me. When you first hear her voice coming in, it's like just exquisite. What's it like for you, Rev Deb, when you watch that video? And of course, you've watched it many times now. What stands out for you?
Starting with the voices of Dwayne Elgin and Jean Houston. They are among our treasured elders of the Evolutionary Leaders Circle. And Kristen chose to invite them to read passages from the book, The Holo Movement, to dive into the spirit of this video. And it always moves me to hear them, both of them. Dwayne Elgin with his deep care for the earth and his book and his project, Choosing Earth. And then Jean Houston, who is like, and Dwayne was with us in Sedona, which is just amazing that he came with us and gave from his heart to be there. And then Jean Houston, who is just an oracle of the Holo Movement. And she's actually, her spotlight is in my chapter, which is on collective purpose. So I know that the book, The Holo Movement, was also an inspiration for Kristen when she was putting this together. So that's the first thing that strikes me, because that's the hallway through which you enter into these beautiful images of life, just life abundant. And we sit in our houses, in our boxes, and in our cars. And we are so disconnected from that web of life, like no people ever have been before us. So I love the way the anthem just brings you into so many beautiful expressions of life, all kinds and all across the planet. And I'd love to hear what some other people think about it too. And please put your feelings in the chat. And I'm going to put a link to the Holo Movement book. It's called Embracing the Holo Movement is the title of the book. The Holo Movement, Embracing Our Collective Purpose to Unite Humanity.
Beautiful. And, you're right. Most of humanity is disconnected from nature. But we have two people that we're about to bring on board who are very connected to nature. And they have done a marvelous job of that. And they're two of my favorite human beings. Mark and Claire Dubois are with us. And Claire's been on the show before, but Mark, this is his first time. So Mark is a virgin to the awakening world here. But welcome, both of you. And what a joy it was to be with you both in Sedona and then recently in Nevada City. And Rev Deb, what would you like to say about Mark and Claire as way of introduction?
Well, first of all, I want to say that it was an incredible joy to meet you two in person. They're both members of the Evolutionary Leaders Circle, and that means that over the last couple of years, I've known them online. And so my first impression is that Mark is really, really tall. But really, it's just a joy to be with you. And it is perfect that you two are following Kristen's beautiful video, because I know you are both, it's part of your connection as the beautiful, loving couple that you are, that it's almost like nature forms the Trinity with the two of you. So I'm going to read a little bit of your bio so that people know where you come from. So I'm going to start with Mark. And Mark says, through the years of evolution since his youth, a threatened river, its canyon, and all its life transformed his relationship with all life, gifting him a passion and love for life. Mark's devotion and calling have long been how to support and catalyze our great global emergence, which is exactly what we're talking about tonight, reminding and inspiring humanity of the magnitude of who we truly are when operating from love and connectedness. As co-international coordinator for Earth Day 1990 and 2000, his team collaborated with thousands of groups in 184 countries outside the US, co-creating the world's largest grassroots environmental event with 200 million people actively participating. And Mark has worked with the Pachamama Alliance. I know you're all familiar with the work of Lynn Twist, with their Global Awakening initiatives, and he's coordinated organizational alliances and youth liaison. And 4 years ago, I remember that, to implement Pachamama's vision for flourishing sustainability, social justice and equity, and spiritual fulfillment. He co-founded the International Rivers Network and other organizations here. Rivers, canyons, and nature are his true home for refuge and renewal. And Mark is based in Nevada City, California, with his wife, Claire, whom we're about to meet as well. And they perpetually explore how best to contribute to humanity's great awakening. Now, Claire is an earth-loving social entrepreneur and inspirational teacher. And I realize I'm reading the old bio and not the new one that you just sent me. So I would like to get this right. So I'm going to look for the new bio, but it might take me a minute. Oh dear, I thought I was so prepared. Okay. Sorry, Claire, I'm going to read the old bio because it happens to be the one I have in front of me. So she's the founder and former CEO of treesisters.org, a global women's movement spanning multiple countries that collectively funded the planting of, are you ready? Over 22 million trees. And the aim of both Claire and Tree Sisters has been to make it as normal to give back to nature as it currently is to take nature for granted, while supporting humanity in its transition from a consumer species to a restorer species. Claire has worked internationally for 2 decades, coaching business leaders and facilitating group behavior change. And she's known for her inspirational speaking and her holistic approach to collective transportation. And this is what I really love. She is a walking invitation to anyone ready to step up and step in on behalf of the planet. And she's also such a magnificent poet. I just love it. Follow her on Facebook, and then you'll see how the words just come from the bottom of her heart. So I'm sorry, Claire, not to give you your updated bio, but please meet these 2 beautiful souls, Mark and Claire Dubois.
Thank you so much for the introduction. And I just want to say how you described the Holo Movement was so beautifully done. I'm just so glad that you got all of that out of you in the sentence structures that you did, because it made perfect sense and was absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us in Sedona and being an integral part of how we've ignited this. So I look forward to hearing from you both.
Yeah, what does the Holo movement mean to each of you personally? Let's just start with your personal relationship to this movement, to this vision.
You know, what I would say for me is what came out of that stunning gathering is, Deborah, you beautifully described the Holo movement. And the words that come from me is that Bohm used the word Holo movement as a word to capture the macro and the micro evolutionary consistent flowing of everything and the interconnectedness of everything. And it's one of those things I sense that all religions are sort of based on this concept we're all connected. And it was so powerful to be with 80 people who, again, we're all trying to put words on that deep, profound knowing that humanity knows, and we inherited this connection. And so now we are remembering, we are reconnecting with this sacred journey we're all on, and this flow that we've always been a part of. And I'll just add that, that experience I had with Earth Day, and experiencing 200 million people all around the world actively engaging in their part of the sacred earth or in their community. To me, the Holo movement, Earth Day was around the environmental realms of it. And Holo movement is capturing, as you beautifully said earlier, Scott, this from individuals living lives in more love and more integrity, to choosing to take on some of the most daunting challenges we have, and humanity turning all of those challenges now into opportunities. And we're in the middle of that. And as Deborah said, as we learn to see each other, we get to remember and relax into trusting that this unfolding is all around us and we're all a part of it. So, Claire.
What he said. When I was listening to that piece of music, which makes me cry every time she opens her mouth as well, what I kept hearing was "follow that inner star." And I hadn't heard that line before. And it took me to stardust. It took me to what we're made of. It took me to the cosmos. It took me to the interconnectedness of our planet with all the other planets and all that we don't know. It took me to vastness. And it took me to how that vastness is encoded in each of us. And that song, it's like the fragrance of interconnectedness, the fragrance of love is like so tangible in it. It's like this, it's this gorgeous woven tapestry. And I think the reason it makes us cry is because she's tapped in so beautifully to that thing that we long for, which is our essential nature as part of each other and as part of all things. And it really landed with me in Sedona that the Holo movement is our true natural state. Like it's almost like it's the truth of everything, that when everything that's not the truth is wiped away, that is what remains, which is our interconnectedness. And it's like we're searching to find our way back to what is already true, which is we can't not be connected because we are all part of everything, down to our molecules, down to the fire of our own souls. And so it's like a relaxing back into the truth of our nature as part of nature. But it's so much more than that. It's the fact that life is constantly trying to strengthen itself and strengthen all of life, and that a humanity that is consciously only seeking to strengthen the web of life for all beings, to strengthen the experience of interconnectedness, rooted in deep love and reverence. Again, to me, that is our natural state. And so it's like the Holo movement is like a signpost back to our natural state. Like, can we allow ourselves to remember who we actually are? And can we allow what's not true to fall away so that what is true rises, and with it arises a different quality of leadership and action that comes from a connected place.
A wholeness.
Oh, so beautifully stated.
Both so eloquent.
Yes, I mean, that's it, isn't it? It's a coming home to who we really are.
Yes.
And if you see evolution spiraling, then it's almost like we had to go far out to come back to the next level of the spiral. Sometimes I think about the prodigal son allegory, that we went all the way out into extreme individualism and separation from nature. And when we come back not as primitive, but as the next level of our evolution, so that we can learn from our primitive past how to really live in harmony with nature. But we're coming from this newly experienced, how can I say this, where our consciousness is evolving.
I often say that, or I experience that the best thing about being lost is being found. Or
There you go.
The best thing about just wading through the crap that we're all wading through, and wading through the just nightmare that we see unfolding that makes no sense, is the fact that the path back to being found and to finding ourselves means that every step you have to take consciously. You reclaim part of yourself, and in that reclaiming process, you're incapable of taking anything for granted, because every part has been sought and found and appreciated and consciously loved back into wholeness. And so I do feel like that, the from lost to found, from dissociated to connected, from fractured to unified, has a momentum to it which can't not happen, because what's true is unity. Therefore, no matter how far we pull ourselves away from that true state is always going to pull us back and emerge through the fracturedness, because it's what's true. The fracturedness is not true. Unity is actually true, because we are all part of everything and we can't not be. And therefore, life will have the last laugh, won't it?
And I think as we remember all of that, it's like we get to live in joy, and we get to, Lynn Twist has noted that, again, we're at this time in human evolution, we get to discover what it truly is to be humans. And so we get to tap into this deep remembering and connection that we are one, and we have vastly more power than we've ever been trained. We've been trained, we are so small and we don't have power, and we're vastly more than that. And as we remember this sacred journey that we are all part of, we are all one with,
all of it.
All of it.
All of it. And I love, Claire, that you said, if we didn't take anything for granted, then we would be living in a constant state of gratitude, and our hearts would be wide open to one another.
I do have a question that I'd like to ask. Philosophically, we know that it's an illusion. The separation is an illusion. Scientifically, we know it because we now know that we're all part of a quantum field of ever-changing molecules. But in the day-to-day minutia of it, it can get very heavy. And so for those who might be watching that really are struggling to believe in humanity coming back together, and are maybe struggling in the circumstances of their lives, do either of you have a thought or even a practice for yourself when you're hitting despair or even disillusionment?
Well, I mean, I left my organization last year because of severe burnout. And, part of my burnout was I had been running the desecration of our planet through my nervous system for decades, because that was my version of being intimate with nature. And I didn't know how not to do that. And it's been an incredibly difficult process of how do I connect with nature when nature is being so harmed? How do I allow myself to feel fully without just feeling the pain? And so I've been deep in that inquiry around how do I heal myself without just going completely offline into la la land and becoming one of those people that I've despaired with, who pretends like nothing's wrong. So it's like, I think the first thing to acknowledge, like, this is a conundrum. Like, we're in a seriously large conundrum, and Barbara Marx Hubbard, who I just will love forever. I bumped into her on an airplane, and she was asleep, and I was crying because I'd just driven through Colorado, and for 5 hours I hadn't seen a single tree that wasn't dead or dying, and I was just in total despair. And eventually she woke up, and she grabbed my hand across the aisle, and she was like, "Claire, you're here." And I'm like, "Barbara, you're awake, thank God." And she was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, I can't hack it. I can't deal with this. And she said, "Claire," with those eyes like staring straight at me, "Claire, you have to find your intimacy with the evolutionary impulse." It was pure Barbara. And in that moment, I got this total transmission of there is a vast intelligence that's holding the whole thing of which we are part. There is a huge wave that is carrying us through an evolutionary process. And my old spiritual teacher, who would say, trying to understand the workings of the universe with your mind is like trying to empty an ocean into a bucket using a spoon. And those two things like got me through. I was just like, okay, like my ego is taking this completely personally because I'm wedded to every living thing on this planet, but every living thing on this planet is also part of this continuum of energy. And I have no actual comprehension of the multidimensionality of our existence, of how this world is fluxing through time. Like I can do an absolute number on myself with my mind, or I can focus on what is living, what is thriving, what is beautiful. And I think focusing on beauty is a profoundly healing gateway, stabilizing gateway, whether it's music or a flower or a hummingbird or the gesture of kindness, or, you know, tuning yourself to the frequency of the world that you want to experience as emerging is what Mark would call a through line. It's like a through line through the chaos of the rapids that we're in. It's like life isn't ultimately cruel and destructive. Life is consistently trying to evolve more life. Therefore, what do I want to hook my consciousness to? The destruction and desecration of everything, or the emergence of pure beauty and love and what human beings can be? Well, in order to do the latter, I need to find my own heart, and I need to find my own appreciation for beauty. And when I do that, then I can log on to the beauty of everything around me and hold on to that. And that's how I do it. I hold on to that, and I try and move myself through the world oriented to beauty, not in denial about what's going on. But I know that my nervous system tanks and my energy tanks if I hook in to the stress and the nightmare of it, rather than seeing this as part of our evolution. Has to be part of our evolution, or it wouldn't be happening. If we could be doing any better than we are right now, we would be doing better than we are right now. Therefore, this is as good as it gets for now. But what is emerging through us, which I think is what the Holo Movement is pointing to, is the emergence of something truer. That true unified field of love is trying to press through from the inside out. But what happens with love is it pushes the unlove out first. Mm-hmm. So everything that is dissociated and fractured is coming to consciousness. And again, I don't see another way around that. So just like figuring out how you orientate your mind in it, and then leading with your heart towards beauty is how I do it anyway.
I'll just add that, you know, being around Claire, the river that was my teacher and mentor that I fell in love with and spent years trying to save is gone, and it will not be able to again touch and transform people's lives as it did for me and the tens of thousands of people who visited that place. And being with Claire, she has been masterful at diving, not being in denial, but diving into the pain and letting that out, letting that pain alchemize her, letting her tears alchemize her, and coming out like a more fierce lioness at every turn. And the other elements for me is that, you know, again, it's something, Deborah, you said early on about all these people who are doing things. It's like having had the privilege of working with, again, people around the world, what I know is in every single country, despite the economic and education status, there are souls working to change their world or themselves. And so to me, we can't see who we're becoming. We really are in the middle of this huge, great emergence. This Holo movement is moving through all of life. And we get seduced by the media that tells us only the, quote, bad news, and how to not be in denial of that, and how to remember that we humans are bringing forth miracle and love and light, and we get to do it with joy. And as Claire said, we get to focus on the through line. So how to keep putting our heart's attention and living in integrity, aligning our genius with our heart's genius and knowing.
Oh my God. Thank you, thank you, thank you. First of all, Claire, I just want to bottle you and be able to take a sip every time I need it. That was just magnificently expressed. And Mark, I want to tell you that your river is not gone, because I'm going to put this in the chat right now. Your river lives on in the video that you made, Voice of a River. And I've put the link in the chat for those of you who are in the Zoom room with us, those of you watching on Facebook, just Google Voice of a River and watch this. It's not long, but it is so tremendously moving to see how one man was so connected to this body of water that it was part of his body. And it's so moving, Mark. And you may have lost the battle with those who were damming the river, but you created a voice for that river. And I appreciate that deeply. Both of you, really, I'm so glad you were with us in Sedona, because you feel the Holo movement in such an expansive way. And I know that everybody listening received it like a transmission from both of you.
Before you go, I do want to be we've got a dozen comments, and I'm going to be just a couple that capture how you have touched the people watching. Scotty Satori writes, "Thank you, Claire. If I could have focused on more of what is beautiful today than the skies this morning, I really could have had a better day. Yes, I will implement that every day. Thank you." Susan writes, "Thank you, Claire, for the important reminder. I truly believe what you were saying. We must be in our hearts, not in our heads. We can choose what we focus on." Reverend Jeffrey writes, "There's been a clash between the old conditions, which may be based on a falsehood of fear, and the new thought of truth entering you. Yes, you're right, Claire. The old is kicking vigorously, all the old. And you're right that love pushes what's out." Dietrich wrote exactly that. The love pushes the unlove out. Last one I have time to read from Carol. Carol's a teacher who wrote earlier about how she's so trying to teach her students this. She writes, "Claire, you're describing why I attend this amazing group of people here in the Global Peace Tribe every week. It keeps me attached to the fact that others in the unified field of love are indeed present for this world."
And one more, Scott, from Bonnie and Roger. They say, "Mark and Claire, you have spoken to my heart and moved me and filled me with hope."
Thank you so much for inviting us, and for the multicellular organism that we're all becoming. May our shared soul surprise us with our capacity for love and transformation.
And as we remember, we're one global tribe. So thank you for gifting these stunning reminders and reconnecting all.
Love you both so much. We're going to have Zenka Caro in a moment, but I think we need to digest what we just heard. And a wonderful way to digest wisdom is through the beauty of Omashar's music. Welcome, brother.
Hey there, and thank you, Mark and Claire. Holy smoke, you took the words right out of my mouth. And this awakening, I kind of have been doing it for a few decades by myself. I have no one I can talk to, and it's only in this format, not even my family or my own children. And it's in this format that we can speak open and clearly. And I'm in dismay about the outer world. However, totally in spring May, about my inner world. And sometimes it becomes like blind faith. I know it exists, the inner world and the beauty. Wherever I look, it doesn't always reflect that. And so I have to walk around in blind faith sometimes. There can be something really horrible out there, but I don't ignore it, but I look from my inner eye. And so you basically encapsulated that beautifully. Thank you so much. And I'm going to play a little song here called I Am You, because it's true. Right? Yes.
Yes, we are here and now, and it's time to leave the past behind. So take me by the hand, let us walk across this sacred land. Okay, Jeffrey, I am you. Though we seem to come from different skies, what is true is a light that shines right through your eyes. I'll sail away with you across the universe. We'll fly on eagle's wings, and you know we'll cry with gratitude. Remember, you're always divinely connected. Our spirits, our bodies are being resurrected. The love in your hearts will lift you up, and I'll come along and fill your cup. I am you. Shines right through your eyes. 1,000 sunny days describes the joy I feel. I'll walk 1,000,000 miles, 'cause you know we'll see the truth revealed, and we will remember, we're always divinely connected. The spirits, our bodies are being resurrected. The love in your hearts will lift you up, and I'll come along and fill your cup. Sing, baby. I am you. as true is the love that shines right through your eyes.
It's all twinkle, beloved, beautiful Omashar, because we are Omashar, and Omashar is us. And we are grateful, very, very grateful.
Thank you so much. How fun we are.
Beautiful, thank you. Well, speaking of fun, somebody that we're about to bring on is all about fun. She is raising consciousness in so many incredible ways. I had the blessing to stay with her for a few days when I was in Sedona. And I watched there's like this constant flow, Deborah, of people coming through Zenka's house. And they were like doing everything, they'd have blindfolds on, and they were like, learning how to, experience life without, basing it on, just their own visual senses, and just so much going on that she's doing. And it's all with fun. So you're like the funnest person I know, Zenka. You really are. You're
Awesome.
like a 5-year-old with a 5-year-old's joyfulness and curiosity, with the wisdom of a wise woman, and a lot of, and she's always into like the newest thing, right? All these bent spoons, a lot of bent spoons in your house. So, Rev Deb, what do you want to share about Zenka?
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's not just that she's fun, is also how smart she is.
Yeah.
And, it was Desiree Hertak who introduced Zenka to us. And she kept telling me, you have to meet this woman, and she's going to open her house to host a party for us when we're doing our gathering in Sedona, and she's going to be on the tech track. I was like, what, really? So let me tell you a little bit about Zenka. Zenka Caro is founder of LightNet, which is a citizen science research platform and search engine for consciousness. Did you get that? She's a futurist and strategist focused on scaling global consciousness. She's an expert in mind-matter interaction, including spoon bending and contact ham radio research. And she's been working in the frontier of technology for more than 20 years, even though she looks really young. And she's been running software development companies. Zenka is a very inspirational speaker, I can attest to that, and an expert in whole systems thinking, human-centered design, and augmented reality. Her nonprofit LightNet tracks miracles, looks for patterns, and invites the world to join in. And you can see all of that at lightnet.org. Welcome, Zenka. Thank you for being with us this evening.
Thank you so much, Deb. It's great to be with you, and it's great to be with all of you that are here tonight watching in the various different channels that you're watching at the very different times that you're watching, because you guys are all part of the Holo Movement. The Holo Movement is this aha moment, is this curiosity to say, like Claire and Mark talked about, there's a truth that's stronger than anything else. And it's the love we have for each other. And it's this strange paradox that we're individuals, but we're one thing at the same time. And it's looking for all the opportunities of how that can expand on the earth through everything, like Scott said, through everything you guys are doing, whether it's like singing as you take a walk in the morning, or whether it's like Deb organizing this massive conference with different leaders coming in to think about what's next. So I want to talk a little bit about what the Holo Movement means, and I want to talk about a couple examples, and I want to talk about my contribution as well, which is how we can move this forward into a practical sense. One of the things that you guys were asking about is like, what is, you know, how do we talk about the Holo Movement? What is it? And sometimes I think about, someone said this, Marilyn Gawicki yesterday in an interview, she said, oh, the world around you is in the past because it's already been created. It's like, wow. So yeah, like we can see the world from inside out. So your inner state, and you can see this in your immediate life more readily, but it's also happening on a large scale. So this is an inside job, right? Part of this is definitely an inside job, and the way that we are, the way that Scott's a great example of how his presence and his peacefulness and his joy and his love has created this entire global peace tribe around the world. And that's essentially what we're all doing, right? That's what you're doing by being here. You're creating kind of a domino effect. We can also look at it in an outside in, you know, when you're in those meetings and people are fighting, you're in those like organizations or whatever it is where there is definitely disagreement going on. Well, I had this experience where I was doing a listening circle with a small number of people, and I was so blown away by the experience because I was like, wow, everybody's speaking my mind. That guy's speaking that part of my mind. This person is saying that I was scared, and I was. And this person, you know, everybody was talking about their own experience, but it was parts of me that were also feeling that way. So sometimes when we are in these sticky situations in life, we've got to remember to have compassion. Because if we are one thing, then it's just part of us, right? That's having that confusion or that friction toward getting more open to receiving more love. And we have all sorts of frictions that. I want to talk about Claire and Mark's statement that yes, if we turn off the TVs, and my research has found out, we are awakening, you guys. This is happening. Like everything is, if you look at the trends, you look at the Reddits, all our movement is building, and it's building faster and faster. You look at these Reddit sites, veganism and meditation is like spiking more than Disney, right? It's like, you know, you go look at spiritually awakened, you know, this is what's happening. We're almost there, you guys. So there's some temper tantrums happening, but if we step back and really look at the numbers, we can rest assured that this is a wave that's filling the world. And I will also say that, you know, when I studied awakening, I found that people awaken through tragedy and injury, like predominantly. And then we awaken through maybe movies and other things. So this, you know, we talk, you know, you guys, oh, the world's messed up and it's tragedy, but that's the blessing that awakens everything else, right? So there is a blessing, there's a silver lining in the confusion that might be happening. And I always say that the world is getting better if you step back again. I mean, women can go to college now. Like, isn't that like automatically a better world that we're living in now than we ever have? So when you get nervous about how things are going, look on the bright side, because it's getting better and better. So when we think about the Holo Movement, we think about our inner, like trying to create a wave of like inner love and peace and excitement and everything and hope. It's almost like we got to balance our own energy, and then we have to balance the masculine and feminine, right? Within the world, within yourself, within your relationships. And then there's this tricky part where you have 3 or more. And once you master that, it kind of goes in a wave. And the Holo Movement is so incredible because they're actually tackling that idea. And David Gershom is working on peace on earth by 2030. It's like, we actually have to do this. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh yeah, okay. And he got this many organizations to work on a single project. And that is incredible. That is incredible. But how does it happen? Like what because we need to tie ourselves together. You know what I mean? We're not these massive corporations in massive countries. We're like organizations, right, that have to be keen on how do we work together. And that was one of the things that I noticed in the Holo Movement conference that Deb organized. Was I walked into that conference and suddenly I felt the unity within that. People were kind to each other. They were loving. And it was almost like that cup that we saw on the first slide. It's like they had already filled their cup. They were already healed and happy and whole, and they had extra to run over on everybody else. So I think that's somewhat the goal. And so the next goal is for us as a movement across the world with different languages, different ideas, to come together and be strong together. One of the things that I'm contributing is a group of citizen scientists and programmers and people that are saying, how do we get there faster? And one of our conclusions is, why don't we study the bell curve of the people who are already there, that little circle right there with the number one, those are the people that are on this call. You guys are the evolutionary leaders, right, that are leading this wild consciousness shift where you're like, oh, wow, we are all one. This is wild. Those people need to be studied because they can help the rest of the bell curve move into that understanding, right? So it's like the 4-minute mile. So how do we do that? And we're building systems to help us share and compare our best resources and look for patterns. Because once 100 of us or more, whatever the tipping point is, have this understanding, it's inevitable that the rest just falls into place, right? Right? The resistance to love stops. So stories are what really changed the world, and we encourage all of you to tell the stories that have changed your life and changed your understanding of the way we are, and as a group, as a Holo movement. That's really the key. And it's important to bank our wisdom, and it's also important to experience, right, what it means to feel unified, like I did in that conference, where we all felt like, yeah, we're on the same page. Because consciousness, you guys, cannot be left out. It is fundamental to everything that we experience in this world. When we did the rice experiment, it was like hate was rotting and love was not rotting. So it's like, we know that consciousness is the elephant in the room today, right? And so, you know, one of the cool things about the Holo Movement conference is they had an entire group of people who were not at the conference that were holding the field for us while we were in the conference. That's science, you guys. That's not wishful thinking. That is real science. So when you're doing that meditation or taking that walk, and when you're being in gratitude with the woman at the cash register, that matters. It actually adds up. And I hope that as a movement, we start to organize our best resources better. And I hope we invite the world into these experiences. So for example, the Peace on Earth team, you know, they've got this band of like whatever, 20 organizations. And they're like, okay, the way to do peace on Earth is to do actions, like actually experience what it is to be empowered and not a victim, what it is to feel oneness, what it is to take care of, you know, to feel unity, abundance, love, all these things, to have faith that this is happening, right? And so this is really great because they're doing it in these Peace on Earth zones around the world, and they're actually practicing. So if they have like these people that participate in this actually have to practice something that empowers themselves, right? It's like, what is it, right? Actually. So when we get software like LightNet and other software, it's how do we take these stories of empowerment and how do we organize our best resources, and how do we invite more people to also become empowered or feel love or be abundant? And, you know, at LightNet, we take finding your purpose seriously, and we want to map those things because a lot of you on this call have found your purpose, and that really is the joy factor, the love factor, the fun factor that makes everything else in life fall together in this mission. And we were talking about this at a lunch afterwards, the Holo Movement. They're like, we have to make this joyful. That's really the most important part. And it's true. Because when you're in joy, that's when the synchronicities happen. That's when the like red carpet goes out, right? That's when you meet people and all the synchronicities happen. And then you care about taking care of your body, and you make money because you're in your purpose, and you figure out your special abilities. So anyway, I'll just close by thanking everyone again for being part of this mindset. The Holo Movement is a mindset. It's an aha moment, it's an understanding. And it's also the urge to get your fingers dirty and be like, I can be in a room where I don't agree with everyone. And I can know that we're close to building an orchestra of different instruments playing a beautiful, beautiful song that will carry across the world.
Wow. I want to encourage everybody to join LightNet, her organization. We're going to do another show together in a couple of weeks, but go to lightnet.org. Now, many of us do Light Touch, so maybe do Light Touch while you're going to LightNet. And she's got really cool stuff here. And there we are. And she's on Global Peace Tribe and Portal to Ascension and Conscious Awakening Network and Alan Steinfeld's New Realities. We all are catching the wave of Zenka Caro and the good news that you have. And you really combine your scientific understanding with your absolute beautiful, optimistic understanding that things are really happening in wonderful ways. So everybody come play with Zenka.
And thank you so much, Zenka, for acknowledging what we called the A-team. That came from the term away team, of the people who were not with us in Sedona, but either had wanted to be there and circumstances kept them away, or for some other reason were not able to join us. They had a WhatsApp group, and they shared about all that they were doing to hold us in their hearts and in their consciousness, in their prayers. And we had people who were singing for us every day. And I love that you said, this is science, this makes a difference, because that acknowledges that every single member of the Global Peace Tribe is making a difference. Just with your presence here this evening and from week to week, gathering and supporting with your hearts all of the incredible presenters that come on here. Thank you, Zenka, for the amazing work that you're doing. I loved information. It's the new oil. Does that mean we have to get off that too?
Yeah. Thanks everyone for being here tonight. You guys that are listening today, you guys are the leaders. So yeah, shine your bright light, because that's what the world is waiting for. They just want to step into a better story, and you guys are telling the better story. You're living the better story. You're being the better story. And so, yeah.
What a light you are. LightNet is perfect.
Thanks.
It looks like Scott is frozen.
It looks like Scott is frozen. Is that even
Look, there he's
possible?
back.
You're back, brother.
Okay, he's back. He's
My
back.
internet broke for a moment. That like, oh no, not now, please. I'm doing a show. Hey everybody, we're going to get a lot more Zenka on the Awakening World on Wednesday night, May 24th. So mark your calendars. I mean, hopefully you come to all of our shows, but Wednesday night, May 24th, we're going to have Zenka, and we're going to probably have Altair joining us again as well. But it'll be an evening of LightNet and a little light touch on the Awakening World on Wednesday night, May 24th. So Zenka, we'll look forward to seeing you then.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Scott.
There's so many comments. I'm just going to read two. Ayada writes, Zenka, I am just thrilled every time you join us on the Global Peace Tribe. Your crystal clear and enthusiastic energy is so contagious. And Roger writes, or actually Bonnie writes, Zenka, your joy is contagious. So that's two people. You're contagious, dear.
Good.
We don't have to worry about being contagious with that thing, that pandemic thing anymore. We all want to catch Zenka. Have you caught Zenka?
You guys are causing me to feel that. So I feel like the contagion is starting from you guys. And it's like I get contagious about.
That's the Holo Movement.
There it is. That's right. Don't worry about COVID. Catch the Holo Movement. There's a phrase for us. Thank you, Zenka.
Oof.
Well, Deb, this is where we get to hear from people in the audience. And so I know that some of you have already written what you're doing. It would be helpful to put it, if you've already written it, put it in again so it's right at the beginning of the chat box for us. And I'll start with what Dorina wrote, and then Deb, you can go ahead and pick and choose something that you'd like to share from our audience. But actually, Dorina had sent this to me earlier today, and it's a beautiful, beautiful start to this wonderful question of what's your role in the Holo Movement? Dorina from Ecuador writes, upon reflection, introspection, and intuition, I realized that my role in the Holo Movement is to remember my wholeness, reclaim my holiness, restore my humanness, recreate my lovingness, reactivate my knowingness, regenerate my creativeness, reignite my playfulness, renew my gratefulness, rejoice in my happiness, and rest in my beingness, while inspiring the reawakening of our collective inner power, wisdom, and joy in a fusion of Holo Movement and love evolution. So thank you, Dorina. And everybody, we don't expect anybody to be that eloquent. Don't be intimidated by what she wrote.
Well, I also think that you're welcome to borrow from her if any of those things are how you relate to the Holo Movement. Then jump right in. We also have a beautiful share from Mark, who is an actor, and I can relate to that because that was my former career in my younger days. And Mark says, my part of the Holo Movement is providing a deep spiritual intention through my performances, no matter where they are and no matter who I'm performing for. And he's going to be appearing in The Servant of Two Masters at the Alley Theater in Houston, a wonderful venue. So break a leg, Mark, and thank you for spreading consciousness and deep spiritual intention through your art. Excellent.
Let's see. I know that there was several other people that people had shared. I don't remember it right now, but Carol Craig, I want to acknowledge you. You're an educator, and being a teacher in our life, in our world, Rev Deb, is so important and so undervalued. Teachers in our culture are just terribly
about that just the other day. I don't even remember what sparked it in me, but I was thinking about, imagine having 30 lives, young lives, in your hands for a year to mold. Mm-hmm. Year after year, they do this. Mm-hmm. It's just extraordinary. And of course, the professors and the teachers of higher education are shaping the leaders and their thinking. But, the primary school teachers it's just considered a job. Nobody holds them up on the pedestal that they really deserve. And imagine in a class of 30 personalities, you're going to have a lot of interesting things come up. And so you have to be a combination of educator and psychologist and mom or dad to all of these young people. And we honor you, teachers. Yeah. And I'd like to give a shout out to the moms too, because tomorrow's Mother's Day.
That's right.
And I read a beautiful piece online this morning from what's her name? She's a wonderful poet and speaker. Not in my head right now, but she was talking about Mother's Day being like excluding people, like putting motherhood up on a pedestal. And not everybody has a really good experience of their mother or being a mother or not being a mother. So let's honor the mother. Let's honor the great mother, the mother of us all.
And in a moment, we're going to actually play a beautiful video from Antoinette. I will read one more comment. This is from Ayada, and she writes, I also keep reorienting to the evolutionary wave. Well, I should probably put myself on camera while I'm reading this.
Yes, please.
I allow this evolutionary wave to lift me when I'm feeling overwhelmed or despairing about the state of things on our beloved planet. That is probably the biggest thing that keeps me going, keeps me inspired and optimistic. That and my increasingly intimate relationship with the consciousness of our Earth and all of nature, including the elements, allowing myself to truly feel the power of my love, our love for this world, and the power of invoking global healing as though it has already happened. And essentially, I am engaging the quantum field.
Wow, that's it.
Our teacher, Carol Craig, just wrote, I have 135 students, 5 grade levels, 6 through 10, and 7 sets. It is by far the best decision I ever made. I gave up engineering and working for governmental agencies in national forests to become a teacher at age 40, 23 years ago. So thank you, Carol, for your beautiful service. And I think
we're all teaching one another, aren't we? Everyone's a teacher and everyone's a student.
Absolutely.
That's one of the principles we have on the Garden of Light at gardenoflight.org.
Well, we should go
That's part of the new spirituality.
Absolutely. There's no hierarchy. We're all at different stages of learning. Well, you talked about Mother's Day. And so we have a beautiful video from Antoinette. And so
the Roots daughter is in the house.
She's in the house. So we're going to hear from Antoinette in a moment. But here is a beautiful video and a wonderful way to honor our Mother Earth and to really drop into that deep connection to our true mother. So let's take a look.
I can't hear you.
That is such a, it's because you leave me speechless after watching the video. That is beautiful. Everybody, welcome our dear beloved Antoinette. Of course, she's a regular guest on Awakening World, one of our absolute favorite people. For anybody who doesn't know Antoinette, she's many, many things. And Reverend Deb is going to share a little bit of the highlights of the bio, but I just want to say that getting to know her, you are Mother Earth. You really are. You know, when we were looking at all those things, the spirit of wisdom, you are all those things, Antoinette. And your dedication to raising consciousness, despite the challenges that you deal with in life, it's so inspirational. And just like being in nature is inspiring, anytime I'm in your presence, I'm inspired. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Scott, for having me.
Antoinette she is an amazing force of nature. She is a world-renowned keyboardist in the reggae industry, and she became involved in the spiritual community after working with her husband, Pato Banton, and joining in his mission of spreading the good news that we're all God's children, brothers and sisters. And she's the leader of her own group as well, the Roots Daughter Collective, which is an internationally renowned artists all coming together. And they performed recently at the LA Convergence, and they just raised the roof. And Antoinette is also a key organizer for Stand Up for Justice, which comes from a spiritual approach to creating the beloved community in line with the teachings of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And their mission is to create an anti-racist culture. and dismantle systemic racism and promote diversity and inclusion and progressive educational and social programs while advocating for human and civil rights. And their vision is for a world where justice is unbiased, so all people are treated fairly. And in addition, they use their musical talents and visual arts to educate and share their ideals and ideas. So you can find that at standupforjustice.us. So Antoinette is a woman of many talents, and we're delighted to have her here, and also to have had her at the gathering in Sedona for the Holo Movement, because she really brings an important perspective to what we're trying to do together in the world that we're trying to co-create. So welcome, Antoinette Rootsdata.
Thank you so much, Deborah. I am so happy to be here. I mean, I'm so excited. I told you guys how excited I'm to be here, especially after coming back from Sedona. So lots happened since Sedona. You know, it's like we ignited the Holo Movement, and then I went on tour right away, and we just hit the road. But one of the wonderful things that had happened after the LA convergence, everything started to unfold. All of the synchronicities that Zenka had mentioned all started to appear. The first thing that I noticed was when we went to the lake shrine, you know, so thank you, Scott, for telling us to go there. Because once I started to see what was happening, and I got that message about the mother, about Pramahanda Yoga, and about his dream that he had, a vision that had came to him, and he said, and it came in the form of a woman that said, if you had created this place that was open with an open heart, that she would bless that place. And that was at the same time when we took the people out to visit the land on Identia. At the same time, all the water that was all over the land, that was a miracle. When they told me that my car was underneath the water, I was not bummed out. I was not stressed. I was not like upset, like, oh my God, what the hell happened to my car? Like my car. I was like, what? Did you say underwater? Did you say that my car is underwater in California, you know, on the land that is so dry and that is so dead? You know, when you would sit there and think that no miracles could possibly ever happen in this world, there is a shift that is happening in this universe. Every person that I have asked ever since we left Sedona, I asked them, did you guys notice that anything has changed? Do you feel like there's a shift in the universe? Do you feel like there's an awakening? Do you feel like, you know, what is happening are part of? Every single person I asked said yes, especially women. So as I started to follow this journey and just following what's happening, the whole drive that we did all the way up to the North Coast, and I missed you, Scott, but I was running into some of our Global Peace tribe all the way up. I could see all of the burn that had happened, you know, from the fires. Remember from all those, you know, all the fires that we have had. Did you see all the regrowth, all up in Sebastopol, all around Lake County, all around the Redwoods? And it's like, it was so beautiful and it's so green. Even some of the trees that were burned, all the life that started coming back. You know, you would never even thought that California had all those fires before. So when we had the other people that came back down, all the synchronicity after you had the Ascension Expo, when they came out to visit, that was another synchronicity because they said it has to burn in order for it to grow again. That is something that I did not know as an environmentalist. You know, these are the things that I started learning. So all the people that started being put in my path about learning about why we have to save the mother. Thank you, Anneloes. You know, it's like she said, write a song for the mother, write a song about loving the mother. So I'm working all these loving the mother songs. We love the mother, we heal this planet, we heal ourselves. We have to heal this planet so we can heal ourselves, because we're at a crossroads, we're at a point at this point right now that so many people, this was the other thing about the whole thing about the shift in consciousness and this awakening. Why are all these women getting sick? Why are all these women getting sick with these serious diagnoses? How am I meeting all these women healers all across? They are lining up in front of me, one by one after the other. You know, it's now coming to a thing. It's like, we have to get back to healing this planet so that way we can get back to healing ourselves. And that's what I learned about the Sedona thing. It was like, the roots doctor wasn't just about getting back to my roots, about my African culture and my Chinese culture. It was also about getting back to my roots, about getting back to grounding, that we're all connected back to the earth. And this is why we need to heal the earth so we can heal ourselves. So as above, so below.
Beautifully stated. And people are really resonating with what you're having to say. I just wrote, burning for regrowth is something we are learning from our Indigenous First Nations people. Finally, their voices are being heard. There's so much more that we will be learning from earth-based cultures. Andrew and Connie write, from death comes life, which is what the elders say. And Carol writes, I have a degree in forestry resource management, and fires are integral to a healthy ecosystem. Finally, Laura Chamberlain writes, Antoinette, there are constant shifts going on. Almost every other day, there's another shift. Even our sun is shining a new kind of frequency. You can see the light is more golden, almost shimmering. So it's, like what Zenka said, it's like the more we come together and acknowledge the miracles, acknowledge how life is evolving, the more that we believe. It's. Do you remember Peter Pan? Did you ever see the play Peter Pan? And when Tinkerbell gets hurt, and we have to get up, and if you believe in fairies, if you believe in, we all applaud, and Tinkerbell comes back to life, right? And I always loved that analogy, because it's the more we can believe in the miracle, the more that we can share our miracles, the more we can share our gratitude, it does create that wave of consciousness and inspiration.
And that was something that I didn't know about before, because I always assumed that, as we were working towards light and life, not understanding about the unified field, the quantum field, and all the physics and the metaphysics of all these things. And that's why I was so excited. Something was telling me I had to get to Sedona. I was like, I need to get to Sedona. I need to get to Sedona. So I just kept putting it into the universe that I needed to be in Sedona, but I wasn't sure about why I needed to be in Sedona. I just knew that I needed to be in Sedona, and somewhere in there was going to be healing there in Sedona, and if I went to the Holo Movement, I didn't know anything or figure it all out, but it all came together from those pieces that I started to pull together. And then from all that time on the journey, how do you think I'm even able to survive out here touring the way that I'm touring? My schedule is freaking crazy. I had to learn about energy medicine, frequency medicine, light energy frequency, all these different things. I'm like, that is what's saving my life. It's like the people that I met through the Global Peace Tribe, all the different doctors, the science, the tech, the spirituality. I said, every one of them started to line up in front of me. I said, oh my gosh, I have now found a whole system and a team, a whole movement, a whole everything that's going to shape, the future right now. And we can do this right now.
Right now. Healing our bodies and healing the planet at the same time.
Right
the
now.
Same energy. And tapping into what your video was about, the divine that pours through us. And all we need to do is pay attention to it, to manifest it and express it and create that healing. And I didn't even mention in your bio that you've been all over Africa creating a video, a film, actually, on Ubuntu. On I am because you are, or how would you express Ubuntu?
I am because we are. And thank you for mentioning that, because actually we are joining with David Gershon as well, too. So we just didn't officially get to sit there and put our organization up on that long list. But on the Peace on Earth games, the zones that they've been working on in Africa. So we've already had our meeting with David Gershon and Miranda. And then I just have to sit there and line up a few more meetings. But we're going to be 3 weeks in Africa, 2 weeks in Kenya, and 1 week in Burundi. So our next meeting with Ambassador Musi, we are getting, Africa's about to pop off. It's about to pop off like you won't believe when you start to see how they start organizing. And that was the thing that excited me, because I said, what can we do? We've been over there. Last year, we went to 12 countries. I went on 3 separate trips, came back and was touring over here, trying to figure out how to do alternative health, how to tell this story of Ubuntu, and how to understand how everything is folding in this universe. And it was so clear, out of Africa, it's like right back to my roots. I said, oh my goodness, we got to get back to the roots. We got to go back and unite. We got to sit there. When you see the things that's emerging and that's coming out of there, it could really show the world how we can really come together in that spirit of Ubuntu. They're making it happen. Whole entire villages, people coming together. It's like, this system of the way they were doing things, of just throwing money and on all the trillions of no progress, we've got to change how things have been done. The old organizations, the way they've been doing it, the taking and the raping, murdering, and pillaging of that continent has got to stop. When people start coming together and they actually working together, and you see how we collectively work together with these organizations, it's like now we can sit there and like give back the credit, give back, the autonomy to the people, and when you see what they're doing, they're going to save humanity. Their system of way of life will save humanity, because the two roads that we're going down, either the materialistic road, the fast way, the quick way, none of us, we can take any of this with us to the grave. It's not going with us any later. This matrix that we're creating now is creating everything for the future. Everything is for the future. And I love that. I'm like, let's get started. I'm ready for this final mission,
Oh, you're doing it.
Yeah, I'm doing it, but it's just like, we're taking it. It's like 2.0. We just have to up level it. Everybody's been doing the work already, but now that we're like injecting like some super hypeness in there, especially but with the young people, look how hype they are. Look at Zenka, look at Brian, look at Yasmin and everything. They are on fire. I'm like, I need this kind of energy and everything to sit there and get things moving, and they're ready to go. So it's like, let's go ahead and just, band together, work together, continue with Holo moving, and then watch how everything is starting to manifest and starting to unfold. Within the last months or whatever, I've seen so many miracles happen because I've learned to sit there, follow the intuition, follow the leadings, trust your faith, trust the mother, trust the father, trust yourself, go within. If you thought it, you're probably right the first time. Don't second guess anymore.
Follow your leanings, follow your intuition. That's so key, isn't it? And it's so time for Africa's light to shine. And every country all over the world has so many gifts to give. And, here in America, we tend to think, oh, we're number one. Well, we're not. We're one of many. And it's time for us to acknowledge that about all peoples everywhere. And bravo for the work that you're doing, Antoinette.
Thank you. Thank you. And like I said, we wouldn't, when we had that vision of getting that land and getting my diagnosis was a blessing. It was not a curse. It was a blessing because of the timing. What was going to save me is the land, and it reminded me of that book from The Good Earth by Pearl S. Buck. It was always back to the land. I always kept telling my family in Taiwan, it's the land. Don't sell the land. Don't get rid of the land. Don't, it goes back to it,
One of my favorite archetypal stories is the legend of Arthur, King Arthur. And when he gets sick, and the land is fallow, and he sends his knights out to find the Holy Grail. And the Holy Grail isn't just the implement that Christ drank from. The Holy Grail is actually a message for Arthur. And the message is that Arthur and the land are one. And so when he realizes that he can't just stay sick and heartbroken because Guinevere ran off with Lancelot, but he has to become strong again because he and the land are one. And the greater parable is what you're talking about, Antoinette, that we are not separate from nature. And when we are living in alignment with nature, when we're living our lives in a natural way, is when we're in the flow, when we're doing what we need to do, when we're living our dharma, when we are truly in the awareness of being part of the Holo movement. And so I love your commitment to the land. And I also love how you embraced your diagnosis. You didn't go, oh, well, now I'm sick and I've got the C word that I've got to deal with. And instead you're out doing more. You're touring, you're doing the Holo movement, you're doing evolutionary leaders, you're doing so many things. And that's a segue to the video we're about to watch, which is called Heal This World. So tell us a little bit about this video.
So Heal This World is one of Pato's songs. And I was like, this is a great Holo Movement anthem as well, too, because of all the different things about like, how can we come together? And they were discussing this also in the vision, the vision track or engagement track. about how we can come together and effectively heal this world. And so what I was always encouraging is like this music that we create and we write is to sit there and support all of the organizations. So that way they sit there and see like the more that we're letting our light shine, the more that we're encouraging other people to sit there and stand up and to do something positive. And who knew that music was such a positive force to sit there and say, yes, I can do something. I can be a part of this.
You knew.
Part of this.
Because you and Pato have been using music as a positive force for many years. And it's just part of who you are.
And it was also shot over at the Belly Up in San Diego. So in June, when we come back from Hawaii, if you guys are in San Diego, come and check out this venue because they really get down over there. So you can feel the energy of how they really want to like heal this world. Check it out.
Beautiful. Well, Mark Danisowski's in San Diego, so we'll organize a gathering there. Okay, here we go. Heal This World by Pato and Antoinette. I love that it's dedicated to that 7-year-old second grader who, talk about the next generation. We need to move on, but I want to just remind everybody that Stand Up for Justice is one of our favorite organizations. We here at the Global Peace Tribe really strongly encourage everyone to stand up for justice. And you can do that by donating. And it's easy. You can donate through Patreon or through PayPal. But let's support Antoinette and this amazing organization. We've talked about it quite a few times over the past 3 years that we've been working with Antoinette. And please do support this. You'll remember the Jane campaign that she's talked about. That's a very important local vision to really help police understand and to think before they take actions that take lives. So Antoinette, we love you so much. Thank you for coming out. I know that you're in the middle of the desert right now, and you always have so much going on. And give a big hug to Pato. We certainly love Pato and are grateful for you and your time.
Thank you so much. And also, we also have Juneteenth coming up. So I have to get geared up for that right after the Belly Up. We're doing a huge, major Juneteenth regional celebration in Southern California. So this is going to be, we've been building it larger and larger each year. So that's going to be fantastic. So you'll see us getting out there and getting our work done.
You are amazing.
Let's talk privately, Antoinette, about when we can have you come on and talk about Juneteenth to the Global Peace Tribe. Let's make sure let's set that time. Well,
everyone's just on fire, right?
I mean, what an amazing group of people, really. And that's why Sedona was so amazing, to be under the same roof with 80 people of this level of commitment and devotion. It's
and spirit, yes.
And spirit, absolutely. Well,
yes, and we have more amazing people to introduce to everybody.
I'm going to let you do the honors of telling our audience about our next two friends who are coming to us via video that we just recorded last week.
Yes, and where were they when you recorded the video, Scott?
They were at home
I think they live in Switzerland.
In Switzerland, yes, they were in Switzerland.
Yeah, so they couldn't be with us. They couldn't be with us live, but they are also such incredible bright lights. You're all going to love them. So they are another amazing couple. Their names are Dr. Rama Mani and Professor Alexander Schiffer. And Rama, beautiful Rama, is a transformative leader, a performance artist, and a peace builder. And she and Alexander are co-founders of Home for Humanity, an inclusive transcultural movement to transform our divided world into a united home for all life on Earth. She founded the Theater of Transformation Academy and convened an Enacting Global Transformation Initiative at the University of Oxford to transform the paradigm of power through the power of art and creativity. The theater of transformation art form for embodied transformation is based on real life encounters from her 30 plus years of experience in transformative peace and justice across all continents. She is another bright light, and so is her husband, Professor Alexander Schiffer. And he is an integral philosopher, an academic activist, a passionate educator, a mystic poet, and he is co-founder of Transform, and that's spelled TRANS number 4M, the Transform Academy for Integral Transformation in Geneva, as well as Home for Humanity in France. And they are a transformational community of integral world makers. So they are just amazing people. Alexander also believes in the catalytic role of art and culture to heal and renew society, which is always experienced here on the awakening world. So, and these two created a beautiful live theater closing ceremony for us at the event in Sedona that was so inclusive and so beautiful. So let's visit another part of the world with Ramamani and Alexander Schiffer.
Okay. And by the way, you know, I was so impressed with them when I got to know them a little bit that I've invited them. And on June 11th, on our Sacred Sunday show on June 11th, the entire show is going to be all about their work, their creative work. So, and they will be with us live, of course. So this is a wonderful taste of who they are. And then we're going to have a whole 2-hour show with them on Sunday, June 11th. I am so delighted to be with these two beautiful beings that I met when I was in Sedona, Arizona. And it's Alexander Schiffer and his beloved Ramamani. And they are coming to us from Europe. And so we are going to find out all about what they are doing with Home for Humanity and their connection to the Holo Movement. And I want to say also, you guys led the most beautiful closing ceremony. Nobody wanted it to end, but you gave us a beautiful completion. So thank you for that. Please tell our Awakening World audience all about who you are, what you're doing.
We are so happy to be here, and it feels like such a beautiful continuity card to what we experienced together in the Igniting Holo Movement gathering, celebration to really bring this dream into reality. And for us, it really felt like the highest dream of what led us to join forces some years ago and bring our transformative work, which we had done in interconnected but separate realms and overlapping realms together. It really felt like the highest dream, which at that point was articulated in what we call our Humanity Charter, which was co-drafted by thousands of our change makers from very diverse cultures, ages, backgrounds around the world. It felt like the Holo Movement really was seeing that, that come into being of us coming together to bring to reality this vision of living from a space of the interconnected wholeness of being, and from that space creating an earth civilization for all life, for humanity in unity, to live and embody that. So that's what we felt about that, and that's really what our Home for Humanity movement is about.
Yeah, we did find from the very beginning this enormous resonance with the intention of the Holo Movement. It almost felt like homecoming because it was nourishing, I would say, a vision that we are holding also in our own ways through the Home for Humanity movement. And the Home for Humanity the movement has grown, Scott, after many, many years of transformative work, literally around the globe on every continent, working with pioneers of regeneration across all sectors of society and looking for these embodied places that on the one hand created home for agents of transformation to make their contributions in their own cultures and societies, but on the other hand also came together with a responsibility for our shared Earth home, for our home planet. And so home to home, rather than nation to nation, home to home, each one in his or her own embodied way with the local community, making a holistic contribution to a new paradigm. And bringing that all together is a dream. These different Earth citizens building homes for humanity is a dream and aspiration and work of Home for Humanity. And that what we see on an even larger meta scale happening in the Holo Movement. And that's where we found simply this heart, mind, soul resonance.
What's your perspective, being in Europe, about the awakening of consciousness? Are you noticing it just in your own immediate community or the larger realm? What's the report from Europe?
Probably we have our pulse more on the heart of Mother Earth than on specifically Europe, because our closest collaborators are in Africa, Asia, Middle East, and of course, those around us. So if we could duck from your question on my side, specifically from the pulse in Europe, and tick into what is the pulse right now of humanity at this point in Mother Earth, it does feel like this yearning to awaken. In that it's almost like a lid has been lifted, which was keeping down the yearning to awaken, and this yearning to reconnect to our fundamental unity, to live our true humanity, which is really what Home for Humanity is in service to. That every one of us has this knowing of our unity, and we've sort of forgotten it, or been distracted from it, or been kept so busy we couldn't awaken to it. So we feel that coming up. We feel that also very strongly in Europe, but we can feel there's kind of an ambivalence here. There's a lot of awakening, probably similar to what you're seeing in America in the last years. And there's a lot of fear and keeping our heads down and being caught in the rush, the press of what's in the moment.
I would so say, Rama, to build on this, I mean, certainly Europe is by no means anywhere close to what once was the European Renaissance, but there is definitely a strike of awakening. We always find, Scott, working around the world, that the big shifts usually don't happen in the center of power, but somewhere in the periphery. And equally in Europe, you find it a bit more in the periphery on minorities in countries like Slovenia, or we're just coming back from Croatia, or the Scandinavian countries, where we often find more impulses than coming straight out of the center. Yet,
Greece,
but I want to mention, we bring so often students here into this Home for Humanity in France. And one particular student group also coming from the University of St. Gallen, which is very driven to become, young people becoming leaders in organizations. And we are astonished, Scott, that in this young generation, in the right context and frame, the yearning and longing and aspiration to grow, to awaken. And in fact, there is a codedness of the future in them, which is stronger than say we working so long already on this awakening stream. I find it's already beautifully placed in it, but the conditions are often not very healthy to bring that fully to the fore.
I was smiling and thinking, as you said that all of our colleagues in the Holo Movement would have loved it. There was, I think last year, where this group of students who came, there were more young men than women. And from the beginning, because our humanity charter starts with, humanity and unity, and then goes on to how we come together, into the emerging paradigm of the interconnected wholeness of being. So really kind of the Bohemian unity. And all of these young men were who are football stars and so on, were singing humanity in unity, humanity in unity. And it was just lovely, planting trees and stepping into this future. But perhaps what we would really like to share as well about what excited us in terms of also the timing of the ignition of the Holo Movement is literally that this year we had this very strong feeling that the Home for Humanity movement had grown during this COVID period. I think all of us in this time are experiencing this acceleration, us finding each other, us finding the spirit that was so alive in the Holo movement of deep co-creation from the soul and the spirit, and embodied co-creation. And we received during our New Year silent meditation between Christmas and the first couple of weeks of the year, this huge vision, literally, and then we got invited right then into the Holo movement by Emmanuel and everyone there. Literally, the vision is over the next 7 years that Home for Humanity ignites and invites and convenes a journey around our beloved Earth planet to every country, so that this, what you're working for, what we are all working for, this global awakening can be of all of us, and all of the genius and the gifts, the wisdom and the suffering and the transformation and the dark nights can be of all of us together, creating together this future. So it's really our big contribution and our commitment is that we will go on this journey, inviting many others. Holo Movement is already a part of it, to join us. But we are committed that for the next 7 years, we are on the road, curating, seeding, listening, honoring, healing, holding, so that this new earth can come into being.
My last question for both of you, and it's so wonderful to hear from you and to feel your energy. How have you personally transformed? How is your personal transformation going? I know that's a big question, but you each have like a minute to share your own personal transformation as it relates to our awakening world and the Holo movement, and all of us really coming into connection together.
Indeed, I mean, Scott, you asked the whole night question, but to come into it, there is a deep understanding that a new story is coming through us, and we feel that on a very profound level. And in the work, in the transformative awakening work we've done in the past 30 years, on my side, I felt this enormous urge for higher levels of embodiment, so that this whole new spirit can really land. And out of that came this whole vision of home for humanity. That means what we cannot live, what I can't teach anything that I can't live. So in a way, the awakening process was also one of throwing ourselves in the very heart of embodying the spirit that wants to land, and to make ourselves as transparent as possible in this process, where we teach and educate and guide processes, but yet we are in our home part of it, so that out of that, the co-arising of many other embodiments can emerge. I would say that's at the heart of my own transformation, this becoming the journey towards incarnation of what wants to manifest. And I have to give tribute, because I know you are today in Ashland, to Jean Houston, because she always said, what is not visceral, what is not really in your intestines will not shine through and will not be able to radiate and to manifest. So that's at the heart of the process.
So maybe picking up on that, so really paying tribute to Jean, who we are honored to have as the co-chair of Home for Humanity. And we see the One Home journey as being really, lifting her social artistry into earth artistry, inviting every earth citizen to come home, as the last Unity Earth theme, to their inner home of who they really are, to the local home of our cultures, our communities, in service of the earth home. And to respond to your question, for me, this year, which then brought us to Holo Movement, the big theme was this complete surrender to Gaia and to the cosmos, and really feeling at this point, it's, yes, my life is in service to the birthing of this new world. And what that requires of us is this being at home so we can receive this guiding. And to really, it's also a commitment that my awakening can only be fulfilled if it's in service of, this pilgrimage around the earth, so that everyone's awakening, being there to honor their awakening through the pains that our earth is going through, but also through this beautiful renaissance of what we are truly capable of. So it's this mothering of all these awakenings and a complete surrender to that.
I'm so lifted by not just your words, but the knowing that I feel within those words. There's a knowing, as you're sharing, that is inspiring. And how wonderful to meet you both in Sedona and to connect with you. Let it stay. I know we'll stay in close connection. I'd love to have you on the Awakening World again, so our audience can get to know you more fully. And of course, we'll see you in Ibiza next year, and hopefully maybe our paths will be here or there before then.
We would love to have you and our beloved Jasmine Bear right here at Home for Humanity.
If you get me, you get her too. It would definitely be both.
Yeah, so please, Scott, from my side, I want to close by saying this is indeed a standing invitation for you both to come if the winds carry you here. The second thing, it's so powerful because looking into the screen, you see the global and the tribe, and you are the piece in the middle. So that's the embodiment. The other thing that I saw, it's so powerful because there's this sun behind you.
Yeah.
But in a way, because your head covers the round, you look like Liberty statue. You see only the rays coming out of you. It's very powerful.
Thank you. I have noticed that, but you're the first person to comment on it, so that's beautiful.
This is very powerful.
Much love.
It's so good to meet you again.
Thank you so much.
And
yes.
What extraordinary human beings, aren't they?
After we finished the interview, we ended up talking for so long, and that's why I said, let's just set a date. So we scheduled Sunday, June 11th, to hold the whole show. Will be with the two of them, and they're going to bring on some of the artists that they work with.
And you kept trying to get them to go to the personal, and they are all of these people who are on fire with the Holo Movement, they go right to the global and holding the whole thing. And Rama talked about mothering, which we were speaking about earlier, and they're about to travel all over the world. And we still have more of the world to bring in this evening.
That's right. So I'm going to put the spotlight on Dr. Anneloes, but we'll watch her video first. But please go ahead and introduce this wonderful woman to our audience.
Well, okay. Now, you are about to hear from someone quite extraordinary and unique, and that is Dr. Anneloes Smithsman. She is a futurist, a systems scientist, a keynote speaker, a pioneer, and best-selling author in human development and systems change. And she is the founder of an extraordinary initiative called the Earthwise Center. And that includes the Earthwise Constitution for a Planetary Civilization and the Earthwise and Future Humans Games. And Anneloes also holds a master's degree in law and judicial political sciences from Leiden University in the Netherlands, and a doctorate from the Maastricht Sustainability Institute at Maastricht University in the Netherlands. Anneloes is co-author with the person that was just mentioned by Rama and Alexander, Dr. Jean Houston. And of course, we heard Jean Houston's wonderful words in Kristen's Anthem in the opening of this program. So Anneloes and Jean together are writing the Future Humans trilogy. And the first volume, The Quest of Rose, was a #1 Amazon bestseller and a winner of a Silver Nautilus Award last year. And then the second volume, The Return of the Avatars, was a gold winner of the Nautilus Award here in 2023, and also became an Amazon #1 bestseller. And she's co-host with Dr. Jean Houston of the Future Humans podcast. So you've just heard a brief sketch of her life. And Anneloes, I know you're in Mauritius, which is an island in the Indian Ocean, and it is the crack of dawn for you. So we're so excited to have you on live and in person. So why don't you say hello, and then we're going to play the video that Scott made of you, where you describe so much of your amazing work. Welcome, Anneloes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. So wonderful to be here with you all. And I just love conversations. I think that's really, really powerful. Thank you.
Okay, well, you're among fellow bright lights who have attended the Igniting the Holo Movement gathering in Sedona, and we've heard from so many wonderful people, and you are going to be the icing on the cake. So let's hear the video interview.
We are with wonderful Rev Deb, who's down in Mexico, and Anneloes, who's on a small island off Madagascar. Truly, we are the Global Peace Tribe. And Rev Deb, would you please let us know who this wonderful Dr. Anneloes is?
Oh, I'm so delighted to welcome Dr. Anneloes Smithsman to the Awakening World. She is, of course, one of our treasured evolutionary leaders, and she's doing truly extraordinary work in the world. So, first of all, she founded the Earthwise Center, which we're going to hear a bit about from Anneloes today. And the Earthwise Center is an amazing vision for the future, that for becoming the future humans of an emerging planetary civilization. It includes a constitution and many other aspects that I know the Global Peace Tribe is going to want to hear about. She's also been working with our beloved Dr. Jean Houston as co-authors of the Future Humans trilogy, a series of books. And I believe it's the middle one, The Return of the Avatars, that was just awarded a 2023 Gold Nautilus Award. So we're very proud of Anneloes and all of the work that she's doing, and how the grand scope of her vision, which what I appreciate most about it is that she's filled in the details. She's not just kind of thinking in a nice philosophical way, but when you get to know about the Earthwise Center, you'll see how brilliantly all of the pieces come into place. And I really see this as a major contribution to the emerging Holo Movement. And it was a great pleasure to welcome Anneloes to our recent gathering about the Holo Movement in Sedona. So I can't wait to hear what Anneloes Smithsman has to present to us today.
Oh, thank you so much, Deborah and Scott as well. It's just such a great pleasure to be with all of you and for everyone listening and watching as well. This is really a special time. In fact, we were just chatting just before now about what we really feel is the essence of the Holo Movement. So I just want to share with you a little bit about that before I'll share more about Earthwise and the Constitution. And so for me, where it really resonates is, this is really the time that Mother Earth is calling us together, because we are in exceptional times right now. And this is really a time that's going to make a critical difference for humanity, and especially for us to grow up, to connect, to link up, and to come back to the foundational premises of life in our universe, in these foundations of unity, love, and wholeness. And that is so beautiful that the Holo Movement is coming out of that spirit to bring us together, not just to create a movement. We have a lot of movements, right? But to be at a meta level of the movement, to understand that the earth is moving us. The earth is moving us to take our next step as a species. And that's a call that goes out to all of us. And each of us, we are feeling and answering that call in our own unique ways. So I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit now 1 minute. Okay, here we go. So welcome to the Earthwise Constitution. Yeah? Many people are asking me, why a constitution? Isn't a constitution just for countries? And interestingly, I actually started as a constitutional lawyer many years in earlier career, and then moved into sacred law. And then moved into system sciences. And what I then learned from many years of studying living systems and the deeper cosmology of the universe and the evolutionary process of life is that every living system has a constitution that's cosmologically given. If you just reflect on that for a moment, then, so we have an innate constitution. And I think that's really in the spirit also of the Holo Movement, the understanding of the deeper implicate orders of life, reality, and consciousness are our living constitution. So what would it mean if we were to actually apply that constitution for the making of new constitutions, for the making of new social contracts and larger agreements, for the redesign also of our societies, our economies, our political systems, and our educational systems. So what I'm going to be sharing with you here is really a journey also into the heart of living systems and how it would look like and what could change if we were to apply that for the transformation of our world and ourselves. So our commitment from Earthwise is to become wise like the Earth, hence the name Earthwise. Wise like our planet. Our planet is an amazing living being, as he's part of an incredible living universe within which there is a deeper cosmos. And that's 4 billions of years and more of experimentation, of co-creation, of evolutionary process on our beautiful planet that we all form part of. Yes, and if we then take that into the context, then that living systems didn't just come out of nowhere. They came out of that deep process of collaboration, co-creation, experimentation. In fact, the very same process that's calling us together now as a humanity. And for us, what that means is that from the wisdom of these living systems that are really innate, you can think of that as the organs of the universe for manifesting consciousness in the world of space and time. And if we then having that beautiful wisdom of our planet, because he knows how to be that process, to be a mother of life for all of us. And then through Earthwise, what we've been working at is how do we apply that then in the redesign of our society, in the creation of new governance systems, new economic systems, new political system, education, movement building, going back also the indigenous wisdom principles, because indigenous people have known that through their very beautiful and deep sense of oneness with Mother Earth and with life and the universe itself. And one of our kind of core tipping points now where we are applying all of that major work is also in the development of games and quests. And I'm going to share with you a little bit about that, because this presentation will complete with a call for how we all can start to play that game, to play the game that unites us, to play for life. And out of that process has then also come the Earthwise Constitution for a planetary civilization. And why a planetary civilization is because, in fact, we have actually never had a planetary civilization. We've had many different civilizations associated with all kinds of cultures. But if we're looking at it, have we really, as a humanity, ever seen ourselves as part of a larger planetary civilization that includes also non-human life? Yeah? Now, perhaps this is the first time that we are at the foundation of all of that. So consider that for a moment, what it means for you and your life, that you are part of the making of a new civilization. How are our children and grandchildren and future generations many years ahead going to look at this time, at the decisions that you are making, that we are making together as a Holo Movement for an awakened humanity. So the Earthwise Constitution, it's all open source. It serves as a kind of social contract. you're free to work with it and adapt it. That's also what's quite unique about it, because many constitutions that are out there, they are documents that you're just supposed to endorse and sign. And this is not like that at all. It truly is an inspirational guide for helping you to remember what it really means to be a thriving living system. And as you go through that journey with the Constitution, you're completely free to work with it as a compass for your own life and your own organizations and your movements, and to adopt it. Change the language if you want. Yeah, everything is Creative Commons license. To work with it, really, to catalyze, to inspire, to hold dialogues, to be in conversation, go through it with your kids as well. I've done the same thing, and ask them what their vision is for the world and for themselves within that. And the Constitution therefore also supports the Holo Movement in precisely that role as an evolutionary framework, also for collective action coming together and really coming into that shared vision, and providing also the architecture for us for all these new games that we are developing. Games that are about playing the great game of life, changing how we play the game of life on planet Earth. The Constitution is available in English and Spanish. People are now translating it in French, Japanese, German, and Dutch, and probably many more languages coming. And this is really where we begin with our promise. So rather than our declaration, we are making a promise. Yeah? And this is about acting also on how can we be the promise for the promised new time as future ancestors of a planetary civilization, committing to co-creating thrivable worlds and futures with the wisdom of living systems in partnership with life and our Earth. And this is our vision. You will get later the link for the Constitution, so I won't be reading all of this here, but this is a beautiful way to immerse yourself of what is that greater possibility that's calling us forth. What does it mean, really, when we feel in our bodies, really embodied, that we have become a planetary civilization and thriving communities of life as wise and joyful and loving partners of our Earth? Imagine yourself in that future, even just right now, what it means for all of us that we have become that planetary civilization as a thriving communities of life, wise and joyful and loving partners of our Earth. That is the greater possibility that I believe, and that many of the stewards of us here with the Constitution, that we believe in, that we are committed to. And that is also what we give our heart and dedication to, and what it means to be part of this larger Holo movement as well.
Wow. Wow. I think that's just a wow. And I really encourage you all to go to the Earthwise Center online and find out more about this. There is so much more. And you have done such extraordinary work with this, Dr. Anneloes. And I would love to hear a few words from you, but I would also love you to lead us in reciting the promise together. And Scott, can you put the promise on the screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
And my children are just waking up, so you may
hear them in the invite them to come and read it with us.
Funny,
what time is it in Mauritius?
It's just, what are we now?
God, I sent it to you in the chat, the promise.
Okay. Why don't you tell us about the promise while I find it?
Or can I share my screen?
Yeah, go ahead and share yours. Oh, I see.
Isn't that beautiful?
Beautiful. Are we all gonna?
Can
well,
we say
it's
it
hard.
together?
It'll be hard syncing,
No, we
but we
can
can
be
try.
mute. We can be mute and listen to Anneloes recite it again.
Okay.
Okay, and let's really live into those words, really feel what that means, that we as future ancestors of a planetary civilization commit to co-creating thrivable worlds and futures with the wisdom of living systems in partnership with life and our earth. Our promise.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Since I did have your website up, I just want to, for all the people watching on Facebook, it's earthwisecenter.org, and center is spelt in a European way, which is CENTRE, earthwisecenter, CENTRE.org. And is there a place where that promise is located on this website, Anneloes?
Yes, just scroll down. The whole constitution is on this page. The beginning shows how to work with it. Then we have the solstice launch with all the beautiful stewards. Jean is there as well. And if you keep scrolling down, then you'll get it article by article. Here is how you can download the constitution.
Right.
We have the vision there as well. And then when you click on the different articles, they open up with more information. So yes, the constitution is below what you just shared. And below all the logos also.
And everybody, please
That's it. Yeah, just sign up there, then you get the PDF version of it.
Beautiful.
Yes, which is a beautifully designed document.
Great. All right. And look at all these amazing organizations you're working with.
That's it.
I will have to send you the Global Peace Tribe logo so we can add
Yes,
that.
please do so. We can add you, would be so good. And that's also the organizations who have endorsed that, made that commitment to start working together on the basis also of the principles and the values and the promise. And because we really believe that's really important to go at a deeper stage of collaboration right now. And to really, I mean, we're collaborating for the earth, and we are collaborating for a thriving future. We're collaborating as a promise also to all the future generations. And that, to me, that's also, I believe, what the essence of the Holo Movement is all about.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for the wonderful work that you're doing. What was it like for you coming all the way to Sedona, Arizona, and being with us? What was that like?
I loved it. I really felt like being with family. There's also so many of you, we've been working together and meeting on Zoom. It's just such a delight to finally be with all of you in person. You know, that was just amazing. Sedona is very sacred ground to me. The way that the earth speaks there, I feel is really profound. So we did a lot of beautiful ceremonies there as well. And yeah, I also, I think what some of the guests here today also expressed, that there is an aliveness in the field, and there's a deeper understanding also of action of so many people. So I feel that this is really truly a profound time together, and especially to be igniting new patterns. You know, I feel it's a higher pattern of us, of what does it mean to feel into us, into the we, and what's the higher patterning of that. That also leads to coherent actions that are necessary for this particular time. So I absolutely had a most amazing time with all of you. I loved it.
And I see people are putting in the chat, I promise. So any of you who are watching on Facebook are welcome to put I promise in the comments there. And someone has put the text of the promise as well. And someone else is saying that that what you said was so powerful that her eyes were tearing up while you were reading the Vision Article 1. This is the world that I too envision. So thank you, Anneloes, for all that you're doing to bring all of this into the explicate order and make it available as games and as books. And I love what you said about the Constitution. I've never heard anyone say before, this is our Constitution and feel free to amend it as you wish. I mean, that's truly the new paradigm where
that's the new
everyone
pattern.
gets
Exactly. Because that's what nature does, right? She gives us a seed and it diversifies. Nature is a living process of collaboration, co-creation, experimentation. And not a single flower is ever the same. So this is why also I felt if the Constitution is a seed, then may that ignite our creativity and our thinking and feeling into constitutionally what it means to create these higher intentions and agreements for our time. Yes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anneloes. Thank you.
Thank you both. Thank you.
We are one. We are one. We are one. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. We are one. One love. We are one. One love. We are one. One love. Yeah, yeah. One love. 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 One love.
Well, it is the Global Peace Tribe announcements time. And the very first and most important announcement is how people can learn more and stay connected to the Holo movement. And so there's a website that's being built, but there's a little bit of basics there now. And it's easy to remember. It's HoloMovement.net. HoloMovement.net. Please accept the cookies. Accept Deborah's cookies. And I want to encourage everybody right now, go there. You're all on a computer, so it's easy to go there and learn more and join the movement. Just click towards the bottom, join the movement, put in your name and your information and submit it. And this way you can stay in touch with what we all are going to be doing. And of course, we're going to do more Awakening World shows that are highlighting what members of the Evolutionary Leaders Network and what you all are doing. We're going to do one more round of hearing from all of you what you are doing or what you vision doing or what being part of the Holo movement means. So we're going to conclude after the announcements with that. Is there anything you want to add about joining the Holo movement, Deb?
Well, I would like my final words to be some words from Jean Houston. Jean was live at our gathering in Sedona via Zoom, like we all are today. And as she spoke, she became just an oracle, as she always does. And I'm going to read to you something that she said that you're not going to hear anywhere else, because it was what she said privately to us at the event. So she said, "You are part of the extraordinary transition from one era and way of being to another. You are all mythic beings. Friends, you are the mything links." What we are now living is a narrative that can take us not only to the world that works for all, but to an understanding of the profound relationship of the great unity that is calling upon us to be the evocateurs of this new time. I encourage you to make it physical in your own bodies, this dance of new life, this genius that is waiting to be integrated into the field of the Holo movement as you partner the universe in our future becoming.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, those may not be your final words, though, because we're not quite done with you, Deb. What I do want to do is we're going to go to Omashar for a song, and then we'll come back. And if anybody wants to put in the chat box your role in the Holo movement, anything you want us to share, Deb and I will read a few of those.
Let's hear from Omashar.
Absolutely. Brother, what do you have to say?
I promise. That's what I have to say. And I was just talking to myself, as one does in the lonesomeness of one's own studio, that how come every time at the end of every Awakening World show, I feel so much better. You know, my cells are filled with hope and my mind is filled with information of how it's going to happen. And so thank you, Deborah, and all of us for, maintaining this container and walking forward directly into our heart with it. And so I'm going to leave that there, and we're going to go off into the clouds and
I have been waiting for so long, and yes, I have faltered. Flickering faith I've had in you. Whoa, now that I see the greater plan, I know you've been watching, silently present, cheering me on. Through my pain I've grown so strong, and though my heart's been broken and friendships they have crumbled, I do it all again. And yes, I did it all for you. I knew that you'd come through. La 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 la. I open the door inside my heart. There is a radiant presence telling me this is where I start. Whoa, shining lights, please lead me home. For I know you never left me, and that I've never walked alone. Ready for your essence to be fully merged with my life, and I'm ready for the changes that are required of me to be completely free. With your light I can see. La 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 la.
It's funny, halfway through the song, I thought Mark should be accompanying me on this song with his accordion.
Wouldn't that be cool? We should do that. We should figure out, do a little Zoom.
Well,
Camera
there actually is a way,
interviews.
but it
Find a way to do
involves
that.
a third party. It's complicated, not impossible.
Love to do it. Mark, how do you feel about that? Thumbs up. Okay, great.
Where are you now, Mark? You're not in San Diego, you're in Texas. Austin?
Houston.
Houston.
Yep.
In your executive Hilton suite. Nice one.
That's nice. I have a huge place they gave me.
Wow. Well, worth it, brother. Thank you.
We love you, Mark.
Thank you. I love you too. All of you.
Omashar, thank you so much for beautiful music. Thank
My
you.
pleasure.
And, well, Rev Deb, you said final words, but we're not done with you yet. You that you might want to share that has come in from our wonderful audience. Is there anything you'd like to read? Any of the comments?
Yes, I really loved what Ayata just posted. She said, I feel like my entire life has been a preparation for this period of time that I often think of as the evolutionary threshold. And I think that that's a really good description of just where we are right now. We are standing on the threshold of a truly new way for humanity to live on the earth. And we can only cross that threshold together.
Beautifully stated. Oh, thank you, Ayata. Thank you, Rev Deb, so much. I love collaborating with you.
Me too.
It's wonderful being with you in Sedona and then again in Los Angeles. And I look forward to the next time our paths cross in person, but hopefully we'll do another Awakening World show together sooner than later. I would really love
And
it.
I so love my amazing community of evolutionary leaders. You can find them all at evolutionaryleaders.net. And every one of them is a gem, as we all are in Indra's net. And as we cross this threshold as the Holo Movement, we are truly igniting something new on this planet, something next level, something that hasn't been before. And that is the possibility that we all hold in our hearts together. So thank you so much, Scott, for gathering the Global Peace Tribe to do this as community.
My pleasure. And I always like to close by letting people know what's coming up. So tomorrow, it could be a really fun show. We've got a really interesting fellow, Ari in the Air, world-class extreme sports guy who does unbelievable things. And we're going to be talking about what it means to re-dignify love and to create ascension. And to help us with creating ascension, we've got a beautiful new video from Sri Ram. And I know that Omashar is going to be with Sri Ram and Kira tomorrow morning.
That's right, just before this show.
Yeah, so at 9 a.m. you guys are doing your thing, yeah?
Yes, exactly. It's 12 p.m. Eastern time. 12 noon. Yeah.
12 noon Eastern time, 9 a.m. So catch that for an hour and then come on over to the Awakening World. And then next week, I've got 3 great shows planned. On Wednesday night, all about honoring and healing our family constellations. And there are actually many of you have probably heard about family constellation. We've got 2 experts who are going to be talking about that. They're both great. They're amazing presenters and really dynamic women. And of course, Trish and Omashar will be with us for that. And then on Saturday night, it's another collaboration with Tangela and Soul Search. I love collaborating with Rev Deb and the Evolutionary Leaders and with Tangela and Soul Search. And it's going to be all about embodying your divine superpowers as this awakening world, as this Holo Movement becomes really our way of being. we all have superpowers that are, some of them are dormant, some of them are awakening, and some of them are fully manifest. So it's going to be a really, really fun show. And that's next Saturday night, a week from tonight. And then finally, on May 21st, going right along with this, we are preparing for the 99 Days of Unity. And we're going to be doing a lot of collaboration with World Unity Week and our good friends John and Summer Raymer. And they've brought on two powerful leaders of this whole Holo movement that's happening all around the world, Dr. Tamsin and Harry. They're both amazing people. I've heard them speak and I'm looking forward to meeting them. So that's what we've got going on. And as always, my beloved brother Omashar will be there with lots of music. And so welcome everybody. And last thing, I do want to just show for people on Facebook, do check out the Evolutionary Leaders website. It's evolutionaryleaders.net. And you remember that wonderful book, Our Moment of Choice. We did a show around that. If you haven't gotten it yet, please buy it. Order it. It's a great book. It's very inspiring. Perfect book to keep like right by the bed when you're needing inspiration and you want to read something. 43 evolutionary leaders all sharing their wisdom. So there it is, everybody. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful evening. I look forward to seeing you all, hopefully tomorrow morning for the Sacred Sunday show. And I'm going to go to gallery view one last time. And for those of you who do have your cameras on, twinkle goodbye. Let's all twinkle. There we go. Thank you, everybody. Amazing. Look at almost all of you are still with us all the way through till almost 9 o'clock Pacific time and midnight East Coast. So thank you, everybody, for staying with us. Take care, and we'll see you tomorrow.